listen, but he's just going to listen in the background. He's going to be chatting. Okay, let the... Good evening, everybody. Good morning to the United States. Good evening to everybody here in the Philippines. Hey, BK, what's up? Hey, Dick Insider, we're live. This is Baguio Life Radio coming from you from the Cordillera Administrative Region of Northern Luzon, Philippines, and somewhere undisclosed location in bumfuck Oklahoma. We got Johnny Warrior with his Thunderbird TV icon tonight, and tonight we're going to talk about Philippine expat lifestyles. So
that would be the lifestyles of expats in the Philippines.
Here he is, and welcome, Larry.
Hey guys, good to see you. Let me get plugged in here, get my headsets on.
Okay.
Yes, so we're ready. We're live. We're talking Philippines. And actually, if you think about this, I've been thinking about this all day since this morning. I talked to John about the expat lifestyles. All of us kind of lead three, even though we're all married, we all kind of lead three different lifestyles in different regions.
Well, not just, well, me and you are more or less kind of in the same region, but no, you're right, because you're definitely more city. I'm a little bit more semi-rural, and Larry is totally, I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah,
off-grid.
No, I'm on grid. I'm on grid, but I'm way out there.
Yeah. You're the rural lifestyle.
Yeah.
Larry's Nipa huts and monkeys. I'm rice fields and
Hey, we do have to get down to Larry's because he told me today he gets big reticulated pythons on his property.
Larry and I have been talking, dude, since about mid 2016, right, Larry?
Yeah, that's about right. Yep.
Because I think I was definitely still in. I think it was when I finally got to the Philippines. You and I might have even started talking before I came to the Philippines, because you kept offering for me to come over to your place and see your place. And in fact, at one point, it was property that was for sale right next to you.
Right. Yeah, it still is.
Oh, it is? And so Larry and I have been talking a long time. And really, we talk a lot about, obviously offline, we talk a lot about like the prepping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was it my Thunderbird Outdoor Adventures page that you and I started talking on?
Yeah, I believe that's right. I first ran across you, in the Philippine expat genre, and then I think I went to your channel and looked around, and then I found out about your other, your other channel, your bushcraft channel. And,
yeah. Okay. So it was when I was in Bohol then. But
that's before I came on the scene,
and that kind of leads into at least starting off with like Larry's particular lifestyle and the potential of what an individual can do on that, man. I mean, Larry, you should tell him. I mean, being off grid in the Philippines, in some ways, is easier, but in other ways is more complex, especially if you were looking to be totally off-grid, right, than it would be in the United States because of availability of your solar and,
Larry does solar?
No, I'm saying because the lack of availability and the expense associated with it, it's difficult in the Philippines. Like in the U.S., you can get a Reinhold, I mean, anywhere from 3 to 7 kilowatt, and it's not going to be a left testicle purchase. You know what I mean? But in the Philippines, man, you're going to be given lower intestine, probably a part of your liver, and definitely both testicles in order to set something up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the poor guy, he's got to have a 40-foot tower to get internet. Jesus For fuck's sake.
Actually, it's a 60-foot tower on top of about a 200-foot hill.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and actually, and if you think about it, where you're buying property in Baguio, you're going to be semi-rural.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna be that rural that long, bro.
Well, you're going to be like suburban, like the burbs.
Yeah, I'll be more suburban there. But
Yeah.
let's concentrate on what Larry says. Let Larry talk about how he got into it a little bit.
Yeah, his lifestyle, exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah, for a long time, I was, back in the States, I was always, I had an interest in bushcraft and homesteading, and I subscribed to Mother Earth magazine and Backwoods Home magazine, and in my spare time, I used to, I like to go camping and
Larry,
like
can somebody mute their YouTube because I'm getting feedback?
Mine is muted.
Mine's muted.
And I got my
Mine's muted. Okay. Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Anyways, and then when I fast forward a bit, when my wife and we decided to move to the Philippines, I lived in Dumaguete for about 7 years, and then some property came available, or actually her uncle sold it to us, and I had a chance to to pursue my dream. I always wanted a little farm, and I'll tell you what, it was quite an awakening. Living off grid is not. I mean, it sounds glamorous if you got that, that kind of bug in you, to do that, but it's hard, man. It is really hard. It took us probably 6 months to get electricity because we were on a waiting list, and they had to put in 2,000 meters of, of the service drop. And when we first got to land, actually we were sleeping on the ground in sleeping bags. It was during the dry season, and we cut the wood down right from the property and then sawed it up into boards, and we made a one-room cabin. And I stayed in that about a year, and then we started building, the hollow block house for the people that, don't know what hollow blocks are. It's like cinder blocks, but when you build, you fill them with concrete and rebar. It's all tied together with the pillars and everything, so it's pretty strong. I learned a lot about Philippine construction techniques and, what to do and what not to do. So, it took us probably 4 years, to get the house, where I wanted it. But it's a never-ending project, this whole homestead. I got so many things that I want to do, and that, a lot of people have hobbies. This is my hobby, So we have dairy goats. We have about 35 turkeys now. Probably about 150 free-range chickens. A couple Belgian Malinois dogs. What else?
Didn't you just get a cow?
Yeah, we have 2 cows. We had 3, but we slaughtered one, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting to our property, we had to bring a bulldozer in and cut a road, through the jungle, and we got the road cut, and then we had to harvest stone, on the mountainside, and put that down. My driveway is probably a quarter mile long.
Oh, so, my dream.
Yeah. And I got a creek that runs along the property, and there's a stream. I'm sorry, a spring. People are getting water out of it since, like the 40s. So you can drink right out of the spring. Oh. There's a cave at the back of the property. So.
That's one of the big things with the Philippines is water quality. Because like where I'm at in the now, guys, when I tell you I live in a rice paddy, I'm not exaggerating. It's reclamated property surrounded by a larger rice field, and you know the rice fields in the Cagayan Valley have been there for hundreds of years. You know, this is an agricultural belt that's very prominent. So, you know, once they started to try to industrialize rice, you know, production, they started using fertilizer, and then, you know, like the snail seed, which kills off a lot of the snails. That's how they control the schistosomiasis in the region.
Yeah.
But
can I make a comparison real quick? Because I've been through where you live. If you're in America, it's a one-road town.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a McDonald's, a hotel, and I think a Jollibee, because it is the Philippines.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bigger now. I mean, since I've been gone, dude, there's a 7-Eleven now. They've actually made progress on the mall. They've actually, you know, there's a KFC, there's a McDonald's, there is a Jollibee's, there's a Greenwich, you know. So I mean, it's kind of it's an emerging town. Yeah,
it's not like tier 1, tier 2, which I'm in.
No. On your place, on your spot there, Johnny, you say you have a rice field there?
I'm surrounded with rice field.
Oh, okay.
But my water quality is an issue because of the phosphates from the fertilizers. That was kind of the point that I was coming in. You know, they've been using fertilizers in the years for so much. It's got a high phosphorus content anyway, because, you know, Philippines is volcanic, and the fertilizers kill it. So sometimes, you know, if the water sits in the tank, it comes out smelling like freaking sewage, you know.
Yeah.
And it really is corrosive on the pipes, on the faucets and stuff, and there's issues. Now, I don't own this house. I was going to buy it, but the people who own it kind of got a little. They tried to pull a fast one, but that's fine. So I'm in contract with it on a good time, because I'm buying property up there in Baguio, like, you know, but I'm also buying property in the same development that I'm in now for mom and papa, and building a house there for them. So what I'm going to do, though, is that house is going to have a water purifier on. Vietnam, you know the ROPU units that they have for the mineral water outlets that everybody gets their water from. You know, when you go purchase your water.
Right.
Those come out of Vietnam. If you go on to, what's the name of it's not Lazada. What's the other one called?
Alibaba.
OX something, OW.
OLX is something. Yeah, that's kind of like a Craigslist for, but Alibaba, through Alibaba, you can order those water purifiers out of Vietnam, and they're actually pretty cheap. They're 35,000 pesos, and it produces enough to keep on-demand water in the house. You know, sometimes with ROPU units, they don't cycle enough water to charge a home, but this one does. So that's probably what I'm going to put on it in order to. I think I'll save money in the long run, not having to replace so much fixtures over the years, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I would still, you know, trust the water, but the water's a lot more probable. The probability that the water's more potable is definitely there.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
hey, I can't pronounce it. Hengante Tambuk Tainak said if we have any well drilling questions, I can help you with advice.
Yeah, I dug 2 wells on my place.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
I do got a question.
okay.
That property up on the in Baguio,
Yeah.
how much would it? I mean, how deep would it go? Would I need to go with the high? How high is the water table there, and how deep would I have to go in order to tap into something?
You're sitting on the top of the mountain. So our neighbor here drilled one for himself. He's a well driller too.
Yeah.
And he had to go down 500 meters to hit water.
Wow.
How much would something like that cost, though?
I have no idea. He told me, he quoted me
Or
a
maybe-
price. He quoted me a price roughly one time for our property in La Union because the water table sits at 25 meters there, about 50,000 pesos.
So you're talking about 100,000 for a well, about
Yeah. And that's if you hit.
yeah, because you don't get a guarantee on a hit.
Yeah.
You know,
But up here, though, the water district is getting improved daily. Now they're
Yeah.
working on the drainage now, I'm seeing, which is improving because I'm in I guess I'd be a tier 2 city.
Yeah.
you know, I'll be real quick. Interesting
Oh,
story
hey, he
about.
just answered it. You don't know what type of strata is below you. And up there in Ping when you come up to see the property, you can
Eric?
see on the opposite ridge line the solid rock.
Okay, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, my wife is really, religious, and we dug one well, and the water's really good, but the neighbors, started taking, coming over and getting water from our well because their well's, cloudy, and I can't tell the people no. So during a real dry season, sometimes our well, the first one would go dry, and we'd have to wait a couple hours, until it filled up again. So my wife, she told me we have to dig another well because we were making a CR connected to our house. So she was praying about it, and what happened? She had a dream at night. We didn't know where we should try to dig the second well, and she had a dream about the spot at the back of my property, and it came time to try to dig the well. I said, well, let's try the spot where you had the dream. And man, we hit an aquifer right there.
Oh, wow.
It's like the best water ever. Yeah, we went with her dream. And the neighbors all around me, they tried to dig 3 or 4 different places, and they couldn't hit any water. And yeah, we went with where she dreamed, where the water was. And damn if we didn't hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I may go on a different approach, and for a backup water system, I might go cistern because rain catchment. I'm going to have a greenhouse on top of the house. I can at least cycle the water, watering the greenhouse with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real good idea, Danny.
Let's talk about living in a tier 2 city now.
Yeah, I know you're itching because you're not letting any of us talk.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you covered the one road town. We got off grid. So, I mean, city life is good. This guy's got knowledge.
Yeah.
We might have to invite him on to talk about that sometime.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea when we start talking about building.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on building once. Johnny, he'll be done before me. I ever will. But I live in a tier. I don't know, what would you call Baguio? Tier 2 city here?
Yeah.
Like a tier 2 city, and I have all the modern conveniences except for internet. But except for internet, I'm telling you.
It's got to be better than what I got, bro.
Well, your internet fluctuates with the time of the day and what position in the sky the sun is. So
I know.
but I'm going to talk about that in a minute because we're actually up and coming because, well, Baguio is like a vacation spot, and we're growing due to the fact of the T-Plex coming north which is going to end up in, I think, Ilocos Norte, I want to say. And we've got McDonald's, Jollibee, Open Market, SM Mall, Robinsons, 1, 2, 3, 4 Save Mores. What else we have? Oh, we actually have delis now, an actual deli. By next year, by 2019, we'll have an SNR going in.
How often do you go grocery shopping?
Once a month.
Yeah, that's about what I do. Yeah.
Well, what my wife does is for 1,200 pesos, she can get almost 20 kilos of vegetables and fruits in the open market.
Yeah, but mine does it on twice a week. I think she does it because she likes to walk. Honestly.
Yeah, well, that too. And but here, the setback here to going there, you got to get there in the morning, like first thing in the morning when they open to get the freshness. I don't buy meat from the market here. I do not eat meat from the market here anymore.
Yeah, you said you got sick a couple times, right?
Yeah, which I think they call it double dead pork.
Oh, wow.
When the pig dies, but they slaughter it anyway. But actually, the market's the market has improved a lot since I've been here.
You know, another thing, they inject those hogs with growth hormones, and so you got to kind of be careful.
Yeah, plus BK, the plus of living here compared to down the mountain is I don't use aircon.
Yeah, that that's a huge bonus when you can cut a significant portion. Like when I turn the AC on where I'm at, that doubles my. Not that I mean I really shouldn't complain because I mean my average electric bill is like 600-700 pesos, but when I turn the AC on, you know I'm up around 12 to 3,000 depending upon who's in the house. You know, 1,200 to 3,000 pesos. When I was in freaking Cebu, I was paying 7,500 to 8,200 a month.
And
so,
and also
I pay about between 5 and 6.
Yeah, I do 2,000. I think is my most expensive here, and that was with the whole house decorated with Christmas lights and the Christmas tree going and all the Christmas stuff going. But also, BK, I'll tell you another thing. Baguio, how can I put this? Baguio is like the transportation hub for northern Luzon. I mean, like all roads kind of converge in Baguio, all the bus lines like in one spot. So you can actually live here, but you can get to northern Luzon, you can get to the Cagayan Valley, you can get to back to Manila now. And for 780 pesos travel, you can be 10 minutes, 15-minute taxi ride from the airport in 4 hours.
Do you guys have people working for you?
I don't. I had a housekeeper. That's it. A part-time 3-day-a-week housekeeper.
Now I'm trying to find a Yaya now, which is next to a Possible where I'm at. Because I got Mama in the house right at the moment, and there's going to be a bit of a break before she comes back after the next baby's born. So we're looking, but I don't have anybody. I usually go to Papa, and Papa knows somebody, or he can do, you know what I mean? That's who I use. So
yeah,
just try not to get a young chick in there. Keep peace in your house. At least that's what I learned. I got an older woman. She's really good, Anna. And, I made pretty good, you know, as far as like cooking. You know, she knows how to make kimchi now. She knows how to make, you know, the recipes that I like. So yeah, it took a while, you know, but yeah, she's doing. And I have to tell her, you know, I tell her, Anna, you got to sit down and take a break. She's just like nonstop, man. She's really thankful to have the job. She's, you know, she's from the mountain here, and there's not a lot of employment opportunities for people.
Yeah. Is yours a live-in, or is she there only for set hours?
Yes, set hours. She gets to my place, man, about 7:30 every morning except Sunday.
See, that's what I want to do. Is I want to have them in the house from like lunch to dinner, like 6 days a week, but I'll give them a wage like a regular. I'll pay them. Yayas in my area are anywhere from 7 to 10,000 a month, right? So I would pay the 10,000 for a good yaya, and the only problem is what's really drawing it down is the only ones that are available are young. And yes, you're right, that's not a good idea. So
No.
I just don't. I gotta wait till I can find somebody who's older. And my wife, I bet you $10 for kimchi that my wife makes is a lot better than what you guys are getting. What you guys make.
I
bet
take
money.
that challenge.
Okay, we're gonna have to do it, man, because I'm telling you
Yeah.
that I love kimchi, bro, and it's so healthy for you.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
man.
You know, my wife even makes. She started making kimchi cucumbers. You ought to try that, Johnny.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Hey, you know what else we were talking
Yeah.
about with Larry today is the mint cucumber lemon juice.
That's actually really good for you. That's a detoxifier.
Wow.
Cucumber and lemon
Yeah.
together is a it helps detoxify not just the gastric system, but it detoxifies the liver. And then you put mint on top of it. That's an anti-helmic. So
Wow.
you're doing, like Candidid and other parasitic type worms or anything like that. They can't handle mint, peppermint, wintergreen, mint, spearmint. They can't handle it, so it gets them out of the system. Just like oregano, cloves, some of those do the same thing.
Okay, let me answer BK real quick. BK, the quickest way, the easiest way to Baguio is fly to Clark, 3.5 hours, and the roads are not dangerous anymore. They shotcreted all the avalanche areas. So thank you guys.
And that's another thing about your lifestyle, Larry. I mean, you can go herbal on, your health and the quality of what you're producing on your table. Talk about farm to table. I mean, you've got total control of your input.
Yeah, we lately we've been we read about it on the internet. Turmeric. I forget the Filipino name. Anyways, my wife's nephew found some, turmeric root growing on the property that their great Lolo planted, back in like 1940, and we dug the stuff up and replanted it. I don't know if are you familiar with the health benefits of turmeric, Jen?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Turmeric. Turmeric is a metabolic enhancer, all right, but it's also it helps eliminate a lot of free radicals in the blood system. It's good for cardiac care, and when I say a metabolic enhancer, it will kickstart your metabolism. So if you're looking to lose weight, a good quality diet, exercise, and using turmeric tea, it's an immunity booster, right? It helps develops good, healthy white blood cells, lymphatic cells, and it's also an anti-carcinogen, meaning that it helps prevent cancer. So turmeric is like ginseng. You've heard it. You know what ginseng is, right?
Oh yeah, we planted some of that on our place too.
Okay, there are 3 root herbs that if you were to consume daily, is about 80% of your immunity, metabolism, your antioxidants, and enhances the detoxification process. And that's ginger, turmeric, ginseng. If you have those daily, I mean, and then you were eating kimchi, because the Koreans say kimchi's life, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, you're already ahead of the game because you're adding, and they taste good. I drink turmeric tea every morning. Every morning.
Oh, I put it on my pinto beans.
Yeah, it's good too. Yeah. The best way.
Malunggay.
Yeah, well, malunggay in the Philippines.
That's good, yeah.
Malunggay is an anti-carcinogen. Malunggay is a wonder leaf. And but when you're talking about turmeric, if you dry the root, you use a potato peeler, right? And then you dehydrate the root, and then you ground the root into powder. It's more soluble and easier to deal with because you can add it to anything. All right. But, you know, because sometimes I think especially ginger, in the Philippine cuisine, you know, they like to slice ginger big and then everybody picks the ginger out. Well, a lot of the nutrients is still in the root. So you want to consume it. That's why you want to get them to dice it as finely as possible. They may not have to use so much because they're keeping that flavor in there. But if they're going to use it, have them dice it as finely as they can so you can still consume the root. You need to digest the root, not just the constituencies that are leached into the food that you're eating.
Okay, now back. We're moving away from lifestyles.
No, it's lifestyles.
Well, actually, guys, I'm getting some advice. Baller to Baguio. I've never heard of Baller Philippines. So can you somebody help me out with that one?
Hold on. What is he saying?
I want to ride to Baylor from Baguio.
Okay, actually, Baylor is the seaside city where they filmed Apocalypse Now. It's on the East Coast, way down. Like, you know, if you were to take the road from Santiago and go straight to the coast, and I can't remember the name, Dupalamin or something like that. Is the seaside town, and then you take this road along the coast south. You go into Baylor, all right.
Okay.
And Baylor is kick ass, all right.
Okay.
It is
he knows. So
it is cheap, and it's great. What you would do is hop on the bus, right, to Santiago from Baguio, all right, or to Gigarao, okay. And you get off in Santiago and take one of the, like, you know how we take the vomit comets from Solano up into Baguio.
Yep.
There's only 2 buses that run. You can take a Victory Liner into Baller, but what they do is they come all the way back down to Santa Fe, right, and then cross the Sierra Madre into Baller on that main road, because that other road that goes from what is that? Just south of Santiago is still under construction, so it's kind of off. So they go all the way down.
Yeah, and it is motorcycle heaven, but the road from Baguio to Solano, you can't run it at night.
What one?
The Amblical Road. You don't run it at night.
Well, it's not advised. It's not like they close the road.
They don't close it, but it's very well not advised. I can tell you that.
And he's right. Hey, HTT, you are right. It is motorcycle heaven. If you're going to ride a bike, I strongly suggest taking the road. You just jump off from Baguio, go right as you come into Santiago. Literally, there's a light with an arrow that it tells you this Doppelplin town, and you just follow it, and it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. But I'm telling you, from Solano, it's an 8-hour drive. So you add another 4, you're talking about a 12-hour bike ride.
Yeah. When you went to Baller, did you stand there where Robert Duvall stood and said, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning"?
Of course I did, dude. Come on.
Okay.
Everybody does.
All right. Did you say surf or fight?
When you go out there, you know, the story of that is, you know, those the surfboards that they brought in onto the set they left behind.
Yeah.
That's what started the surf scene in Baylor, Philippines. Is now everybody surfs in Baylor. It's a trip.
Yeah, I mean, we are freaking rocking it. You know, I mean, I've never been over there. I was in Solano, Bayambang, and Bam Bang at night, and I'm like, okay, this is a 1-horse town.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you, Baylor is definitely one of those places to visit. I think, you know, I've lived in Bohol, I've lived in Cebu, and I lived in now Luzon. Okay, and I'm staying in northern Luzon for a lot of reasons. But if I didn't, the next place that I would stay would be going back down to Cebu City, because my favorite vacation route or favorite getaway route is to jump on the bus and cross over from Santander into Duma. Then spend a couple days in Duma, get on the Ocean Cat and go over to Sikior, spend a week in Sikior, get back on the Ocean Cat and go over to Bohol, spend 5 days there, get back on and go back to Cebu City. That little triangle like that is absolutely freaking amazing, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, can I
actually,
mention something?
and hey guys, off season in Baguio, help me out, Johnny, because I don't rent hotels. You can go from 1A to what's City Lights or City Lights Hotel, like 2-2.
Yeah, it goes for it goes up. There's about a 400 to 500 peso difference, but you just talked over Larry. Let Larry say something.
Oh.
Well, I just wanted to, I don't know, maybe sometime if you guys feel like it, we could get into this topic. There's a lot of people that, might be coming to the Philippines, or maybe they're even back in the States, and, they're wondering what they should bring, to the Philippines. And one thing that I found really useful, I went through, because it's a real hot climate over here, I bought some, water dispensers, and it's just Chinese junk that, that breaks over here. I get so pissed off. It's like crap that they wouldn't even bother trying to sell in the United States. They're pushing off on the Filipinos. So what I did when I was back in the States, I got one of those Igloo insulated water coolers. You guys seen them on the back of road crew trucks?
Yeah.
They go like 5 gallons. Yeah, I got me a couple of those and packed them in a Balabayan box and sent them over. And man, that thing, we use that every day. We have it set up in the kitchen. My wife, she freezes water bottles in the freezer, and then she just drops them, in the Igloo water cooler, and she slices cucumbers and drops in the water along with sliced ginger, and it makes that water have a flavor, and it's always ice cold. And we use that every day, man. It's in the kitchen, for a hot climate. The thing is really useful, and they're really durable, man. Because road crews, you guys seen them. They're wired on the back of all these guys' trucks, in the States. So if you guys have an opportunity to grab one of those, sometime back in the States, you see one at a flea market or, a garage sale or whatever, man, bring one of those over here. Yeah.
You can, and I'll give you guys this thing. Amazon is expanding more and more and more what they send over to the Philippines, and you can actually buy those on Amazon. There's the problem with Amazon. They take about, like, for instance,
$50.
Well, hold on. It's more than that. It depends upon the item.
Oh.
Sometimes it's, let's say, sometimes the item is $100 and they're going to take 150 in import fees, but they may only use $50. You're going to get $100 back. It's just what they do is they take the money, hold the money. Once the money gets through importation, they give you the money back. So, like, I just had a $200 purchase. I had to fork out $406 for shipping, tax, tariff, and all that stuff. But when I went back and I talked to them, got some questions about it, they said, well, look, it's probably going to cost about $70 and you're going to get most of that money back. So that's the only irritating thing about using Amazon in the Philippines. But you're able to get more. I mean, Baguio Life just found not too long ago a
turkey fryer.
Bayou turkey fryers on there that are cheap. It's cheap. It's like $100. But you're going to pay for importation.
Yeah. Well, Polaris Electric Store. And another thing, Amazon's coming to the Philippines. I just think they're waiting for them to emerge a little more.
Bring your cast iron too. You can't get cast iron frying pans over here.
Well, and guys, if you're married, Okay, I'm gonna research this more before we talk about that one.
Do that.
The container stuff. But if you're coming to Baguio like BK, pack a long pants and a long jacket.
Oh yeah, no.
Depending on the time of the year, like around
I'm telling you guys right now, January, February, March sucks.
December.
Well, yeah, December can get
we had that
too.
cold November when you were here. That night was cold.
But I'm telling you, it freezes in some places up there. So, guys, you know, it gets cold.
And the plus about Baguio, we don't have tricycle taxis or pedicabs.
Oh, you don't have those up there?
No.
Oh.
No.
In fact, down
in the city,
down in Session Roads, you're not allowed to ride bicycles or scooters or motorcycles down on Session Road.
Nope, and no jeepneys.
Yep.
And even and there's even tour bus routes that they can't take. Because I followed a tour bus one day on the road they're not allowed on, and the police were writing for him right there at the end. They pulled the bus over and started writing violations on him because he tried to take a shortcut.
Now, you think this is primarily because of congestion, traffic congestion?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
It is, and a lot of it here where I'm at is at the top of Sessions Road, the SM Mall's sits.
Okay, not so much a terrain issue, it's congestion.
There is no drainage issues up here. There is no flooding up here.
I'm sorry, I said terrain. It's not a terrain issue.
No, even though I have replaced 2 clutches in 5 years. But they're fixing the SM Mall to where you're going to go in the one end and exit and have a separate exit. So that's going to alleviate. Baguio's got shitty traffic no matter how you look at it. And it gets worse over Christmas, Flower Festival, Holy Week.
Yeah.
I don't know any place in the Philippines where traffic isn't bad.
Down on MacArthur Highway between La Union and Angeles.
Well, I think he's referring to cities in general, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean the Baguio is no different than, I mean, it sure the hell is not as bad as downtown Manila and Prime.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that bad, but it's about the same as probably better off hours than Cebu City, but like during actual business hours, it's probably just as bad as Cebu City.
Yeah.
As far as traffic.
And parking here. Parking in here is at a premium too.
Yeah, it's like that in Dumaguete. Anytime I have any business, you know, in Dumaguete, I try to arrive, you know, maybe 7:30 at night, because it's a 3-hour jaunt, you know, over to the other side of the island. And if I get in there, you know, usually if I come rolling in like 6:37, things pretty much cleared out. You know, everyone's going home to eat, and I can find a parking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Siquijor is the only place that I've been that there's been like no traffic issue.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nobody on the roads in Siquijor.
And if you come here to this city, be prepared because it is not laid out on a grid.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place.
It's like an octopus that spreads its tentacles out from the city. Like when we had some people come up to visit, it's like, yeah, where do you live at? I said, well, I live like 4 mountains away. I mean, that's how I can describe it.
Look, there's you know, each area has its pluses and minuses. I mean, Baguio, the reason I'm moving into Baguio, there's a lot of factors. You know, there was a point in time that instead of moving to Cebu City, we were going to move into Dumaguete. You know, Dumaguete is one of our favorite places in the Philippines to just get away to. I love sitting down there in front of the Honeycomb, listening to live music, drinking a San Mig. You know, I absolutely, one of my favorite things to do, man. One of my favorite things to do.
they have live bands going on, and you can sit up right there on the wall or on the what do they call it, the board?
Yeah, the ocean
right
wall.
there at the boardwalk. Yeah, and listen to the live bands, across the street. Yeah, I dig it. Yeah.
And you walk down, and at night they during the later part of the week they have the tempura nights where they're doing all the tempura, and they set all these chairs and everything out. And dude, I mean, the street food's good, and there's some really good restaurants there.
We're getting better restaurants here now. We got London Fish and Chips open. We got the Brick Oven Pizza Place. We've got the Steakhouse. We've got the Angus Steakhouse we went to in Camp John Hay.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Larry?
I think Don McGetty it's like energetic. I think it's because it's a college town. We have I think like 7 universities there.
Yeah, but you see, Silman College is like the liberal arts institute. I mean, it is the heart and core of the Philippine literature community. All right, so you talk. Even the expats that are attracted there are a little bit more thoughtful, insightful. I've never met any jerks there, really. And I think it's more of it's a good look. It's definitely the easy way to cut your teeth. If you're moving to the Philippines, Dumaguete is probably one of the better places to go and cut your teeth until you learn the culture and everything, because it's more forgiving.
But the cultures and the lifestyle changes from island to island, and on Luzon the culture changes and the lifestyle changes the further you come north.
Oh, that's a given, man. That's an absolute given. I mean, just between Duma and Cebu, those 2 islands are right next to each other. At one point, you could probably swim it if the currents weren't so bad, but they're night and day.
Yeah.
Just from Santander to northern, like Dumaguete has like 0 issues with Abu Sayyaf or MPA or anything like that. Then you cruise over to Santander, and up on the mountains around Santander, they have MPA, and that's where that when they had the big thing on Bohol with the Abu Sayyaf. They try to get into Santander and stuff like that. So it's just night and day.
Yeah, I mean, how can we say it? We're like a low crime city here. We're a very low drug city. And what's unique about this city has like a less than 1% unemployment rate, which is really good for the Philippines, because now what's really making this city jump is the Northern Highway coming up from Manila, which cuts the shorter time. So we're getting more influx of tourists.
Yeah.
And condominiums being built.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the long run, there's certain parts of that's going to ruin parts of Baguio, but, economically, Baguio's on the rise.
Yeah.
Now, up there in Baguio, when it gets kind of chilly, is it that, like, because of the humidity, is it that, like, bone-chilling cold?
No.
The humid cold?
It's elevation cold.
Yeah. It's not like Oklahoma where no matter what, you can't get warm.
Yeah.
I remember when I was down in Louisiana, I lived there for a short time. And anyways, when it would get cold, because it was so humid, it was like a different kind of cold, compared to the up north. I was just wondering if Baguio was like that.
No, it's all right. I mean, I don't do good with the cold no matter what. It just kind of sucks.
But it's how can I put this? Baguio is a unique lifestyle for being in a city. I mean, come here.
Yeah.
If you want to see, yes, you can get strawberries in Baguio, BK. And asparagus is grown up here, spinach. Most of your cold weather crops that go to Manila come from here. And
wow, they grow asparagus up there.
yeah, you can get it in the market. It's expensive. It's like a small bunch is like 100 pesos.
Wow, that's good.
So, I mean, there's how many times I've sat and watched people schlepping Iggy Pop. I've lived in Baguio for the past 9 years. I'm near Mines View, Iggy Pop. And how many people come here just to buy the vegetables, and you see them putting their sacks of vegetables back on the bus to go back home with.
Hey, I'm just curious. Up there, I've noticed in other parts of the Philippines, they started banning these plastic bags.
Yep.
Did they start that up there?
Yep.
We got
Yes.
these cloth bags to get your stuff.
Yes.
I think that's kind of a good idea. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've taken the ship from Dumaguete to Cebu City, and you know, you get pulling into the harbor there. It's just bags floating in the ocean. That's a big problem for marine life.
Yeah, it's they're asking about the population of Baguio. I think it's like 500 to 600,000, but it balloons out of for the flower festival, which I'm taking a guess after Johnny gets over here, he's going to do a video series on it for Expat TV. So
yeah,
I won't get into that one. Gib touched on it a little bit.
More the tourist side, yeah.
Yeah, Gib touched on it a little bit. When he was here last year for like a couple, he touched on like a small portion of it, and I mean, I like it. I like it up here, but I'm not a city person, so yeah. You see, Iggy Pop's right. Get away from the tourists. That's why I want to build a house in Rosario. Get away from it all and grow some fruit trees.
Yeah, that's any place you go, you know, where there's a lot of tourists. Everyone probably knows this. So that's where you're gonna really get built. You know, everything's gonna be more expensive. And, you know, even the tricycles, everything. Yeah.
Well, our taxi fares and jeepney fares have went up again up here. But for an expat, it's still affordable. But Rosario, where we have the property where we're going to eventually, hopefully, God willing, we put a house. I've watched that town grow from nothing to now it's got Jollibee, Shell Station, Chow King, and a McDonald's. Yes, Baguio has an airport. They're talking about reopening it, refurbishing it, but I don't know.
You know what I noticed, guys? The 7-Elevens here in the Philippines, they're starting to get Slurpee machines now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a big thing.
Thank
Well,
you.
that Kristen Cebu talks about the Slurpee. He likes using the Slurpee machines at 7-Eleven, but they're also bringing in Monster. I love that the low carb blue Monster. That's like my addiction.
SNR has it. SNR has it.
Yep. Hey man, it's been almost an hour. You need to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Baguio is talking about redoing the airport. Who knows? They've talked about it in the past. Who knows? I'll answer that, but we're gonna have to work a schedule out, guys. I don't know about next week because I think Johnny's traveling.
Yeah, I should be back in Solano proper late night the 14th.
Okay. Well, you got a long bus ride ahead of you. So we're gonna leave it at that. Guys, just spread the word, tell people to sub, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, smash that notification bell. And hey, if you guys want to come on, shoot me a message at Baguio Life Radio at gmail.com. com. I'm not a typer. So if you guys want to come on, you want us to talk about a subject, to answer questions, ask questions, we'll be more than glad to try to entertain them. Shoot us an email. Anything left to say? We'll start with Johnny.
No, guys. I think you're seeing a good example of what our topics are going to be in the future, and we'll move in a couple different directions in the future. We're waiting for a few people to get into the Philippines for that, but I think this is pretty much what we're going to be talking about, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right. And we like Larry on. Larry's the bomb.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, guys. I hope I didn't bore anybody. I'll try to always try to do my homework. You know, like I said, if I could find out, you know, ahead of time what the topic is. And yeah, I love what you said there about, you know, letting people on. You know, I've watched other channels where, you know, they're a little more open about letting more people on, and I think that's a good thing. You know, as long as people behave themselves.
And my final thought is, guys, I am going to bring you guys along, and Johnny's going to bring you along through his property buying adventure. So we'll be discussing that in the next couple of weeks. And what else is coming up? Subic.
Yeah, Subic at the end of
the month,
August. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might actually get to see me on film swimming with a sea lion. But hey, you two.
By a shark.
Yeah, let me go ahead and end the stream. You guys hang out for a couple minutes, and we're out of here. See you next time.
Ciao.